Hello. Hello. Look at Oliver. Just going up and up and up. Alright, I'm going to talk about national parks and working in them. Because I worked in 2 national parks. And it was fun. It was the best experience. Best idea. Like, the best thing I could have done. When I was 14. Wait, when I was 14. When I was 17. When I was 17? I don't remember now. Alright, hold on. Let me think. I was 18, 14. I remember, actually, when I was really young, I remember finding some pictures where my parents went to Sequoia National Park. That's what I was thinking about when I said 14. So I guess I said that. But then I was like, oh, what is that? I guess that's the first I ever saw big trees and stuff. I guess I was a child and I went there. But anyways, when I was working in a college, instead of going to college, I worked at a college. They had this like work day where you can go find work, right? They're like, oh, you could come work here, or you could work here, you can work here. There's all these summer jobs and stuff, places you can go and work. And I walked up to this one table, and there was like these little canvas tents, a model of these little tiny canvas tents. And I was like, what is that? Well, I want to go there. I want to go to camping. What the heck? So me and my girlfriend signed up to go to Yosemite. They were trying to recruit people to go work there. So we went to work in Yosemite. We only had to pass 1 drug test. We studied really hard, and then we passed it. And when we passed the test, we went to the place. My parents, my stepdad, my mom took me. They drove us to Yosemite and dropped us off. Like, there you go. I think we were like 19. We were both 19 when we finally arrived in Yosemite. And I'll never forget, it was May 22nd or something. May 22nd. Something like that. And there was like an orientation where you meet all these people, you know, that are going to be working with you too. All these people from around the world, all over the place, come there and work. It's pretty awesome. You get to meet people that you would never, you know, like you would have to travel a lot to meet those people. But I worked there and met so many cool people. Oh my God. And I discovered rock climbing, discovered all kinds of stuff. Man, whew, it was so much fun. I would suggest that to anybody who's young who wants to go try something new, you know, and get out of town. And there's tourism is still a thing. It's still happening. So go be they got every kind of job. You can work, you can like deliver ice, you can be the whatever, the linen guy that delivers linen to the maids. You could be a maid, you could be a cook, you could be a prep cook, you could be, there's all these things you could be. It's pretty cool. It's just basic level jobs. I've met a lot of people who just like escaped the world and went there. They're like, oh, I work here now. There's great housing and there's food and there's stores there and everything. It's just like, you save money though, because you're just working in a national park. And you get to live in a beautiful place where there's waterfalls and just all this great stuff. And it's worth it. Hey, thanks for the follow. What is that? Snooshy dog. Nice. Yeah, so there's like all these things, you know. There's like rock climbing, there's hot springs around, there's like mountain peaks that you can get to the top of that are just like super accessible in Yosemite. There's redwood trees, there's mountain peaks that are 12,000 feet. There's Half Dome. Have you ever seen Half Dome? It's that big dome that rises up above Yosemite Valley. Yosemite Valley is amazing, but there's this whole other part of the park, Tuolumne Meadows, and like all the peaks back there, the Clark's Range and the Mount Conness, and there's, you know, Yosemite Valley is like right here. There's another Yosemite Valley north of there. It's called Pate Valley. It's not as like grand, mountainous, like sheer peaks, like kind of sheer faces and stuff, but there are a few, and it's like just as beautiful and overgrown though. Not a lot of people go there. There's a lot of bears and rattlesnakes and berry bushes. I'm drawing a picture of the wizard and Terrence the raccoon going into a cave. And there's this giant door here. They're on their way into the... So anyways, Yosemite. I also worked in Yellowstone, and that's a whole other story I'll probably get to in a minute. So yes, Yosemite. I went there with my girlfriend. We worked in 1996 to 1997 in those seasons. And I was like, this is where I'm gonna live. I love this place. I didn't really think of any other plans to go back or anything. I was like, I just want to stay here. And we ended up staying there the winter, and oh man, that was amazing. Got to ice skate and just see the whole Yosemite Valley in this amazing winter wonderland. It was pretty amazing. But you get to live somewhere where people go on vacation and you see stuff that you only see if you're there for like 1 day, 2 days out of the year, like a moonbow. You know what a moonbow is? It's when the moon is full and the spray from the waterfall makes like a rainbow, but from the moonlight. There's all kinds of stuff that you see that you only see when the light is hitting a mountain at just the right place, So, working in national parks are great. I was like, this is awesome. And you can work in Yellowstone, you can work in the Grand Canyon, and like there's a few other ones. Those are the more popular ones, and they have like great housing. Like now they have amazing housing. When I first worked in Yosemite, we lived in these tents. Now they have like dorms, like full on apartments and shit. They built a whole bunch of housing for employees that stay longer than 1 season. But if you stay just 1 season, you can like just get a canvas tent that's like pretty big, and there's like a wooden structure to it. And there's cafeterias, there's food. I mean, there's so much food, and you get like the employee discount. And the cool thing is you get to meet people from all over it. Like, and if you're young, it doesn't matter what age you are. There's people from all ages that are going there to work. It's a great place to just escape to. If you just want a different lifestyle, man, it's great. But I would have never known. Hey, thanks for following me on YouTube. I would have never known about so many things like rock climbing and even hiking. Like I knew about hiking, and I hiked a little bit, but when I worked in Yosemite, I kind of like forced myself to hike because everybody was hiking. It's like the thing to do. So I learned a lot, and I found out what it meant to get like your second wind and your third wind, and then just like hike a lot in one day, and being totally spent from hiking. Oh man, that's a great feeling. Just totally enjoying the expelling of all of the energy. You really sleep well when you hike 14 miles in one day. Anyways, let me try to think of a story from there. Oh, this one time I was 19, and my girlfriend was really impressed with this one climber dude, and he was like, we're gonna go climb Half Dome. She's like, you gonna go with us? And I was like, yeah, for sure I'm going. But she was like, oh, I'm doing this. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And so I just wasn't prepared, I guess. And they all got up so early. I remember she was hating it because she did not wake up early at all. She was not into it. At the time, she was just like, And so we got up early. We went up this climb, got all this gear out, and it was like 4 a.m. But it's a huge hike just to get to the base of this climb on Half Dome. And it wasn't like the normal way with ropes, and I mean not with ropes, with those cables that are all embedded in the rock. This was like with ropes and gear and shit, and we had to climb up the backside of Half Dome. It's like 4 pitches. It's called Snake Dyke, and we went. I think it was like 4 a.m. We went out there. And we're like eating granola bars or some shit. and we get out there and we carried all this gear, and it was like a 5-hour hike to get to that spot. We finally get to that spot. Oh my god. And he's like, all right, ready to climb this thing? And we get up to the base of that climb. I ended up becoming really good friends with that guy. But we got up so early that I didn't take a shit. And so like this whole time I had to take a shit. And I was new to the woods. I never really like took a shit in the woods before that. Like I didn't know what to do. And so like I'm holding this shit like all the way up this fucking climb, dude. I am 3 pitches up on this thing and I'm like gonna explode, man. I'm like the most uncomfortable person. My face is like and I remember, I'll never forget that, dude. I just holding that. I felt like I was gonna just die. And finally we get to the top of the pitch and it's like another fucking mile walking up the fucking dome like this. And oh shit, man, that was rough. I really had to take a shit and I was like, I didn't want to like go, oh, I gotta go take a shit, I'll be right back. So like I waited, you know, and I tried to get to a spot where it was like inconspicuous. And then at one point we finally got back on the trail. We hiked up over the dome, went down the cables on the other side, and we're like in the forest finally. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna run ahead or something. I don't even know what I said, but I'm like, oh, I'll never forget that time I shit in the woods. But I don't know, stupid, just young, and should took a shit before I left, you know, kind of thing. I'll never forget it though. I'll never forget that whole climb is so super detailed. I'll never forget going up that route. It was amazing views. We got some cool pictures, and I don't think I even have any of those in my mind. But man, I'll never forget that. I had to take a shit so bad, but I did it. I climbed Snake Dyke. It's a pretty easy climb. It's basically like this spine. Looks like a dinosaur spine coming out of the rock. You can just climb straight up it. Yeah, so then I just remember running into the woods and just like, you know. Okay, so the other story I got is Yellowstone. When I worked in Yellowstone, it was like totally just synchronistic the way I worked in Yellowstone, the way I got there. I met up with a friend in Southern California, and he was like, I got a job in Glacier National Park, and I'm going to go up there. Do you want to hitchhike with me? And we took 4 months to hitchhike towards Glacier National Park. And that's a whole other story you can hear on my podcast. If you go to my podcast or on my YouTube channel and type in hitchhiking stories, there's a whole hour of me telling hitchhiking stories. It's pretty crazy. So, like, we left from LA, and then we got all the way to Montana, and then in Beaver, not Beaver, it was Beaver, Gardner. Beaver's in Utah. And then in Gardner, we like said, later dude, have a good one. We're, you know, it was like I gave him one of my tarps and he hooked me up with a water filter, and we're like, later bro. And he went to Glacier National Park, and then I jumped on a bus to this town right outside of Yellowstone on the northern part, and there was a bus there going into the park, and I'm like, where are you guys going? And they're like, oh, we're all going to work in Yellowstone. And I was like, holy shit. They're like, jump on the bus. And I was like, all right. I jumped on this little bus. It was like unmarked. I just saw these people standing there, and they didn't ask me for a ticket or anything. I was like, I'm gonna go work. And so they drop us off right on the border of Yellowstone at the Human Resources office, and I'm like, I have like my big backpack on and all my gear, and they're like, whoa, how did you just happen to show up on the day when all these people are coming in to start work, and they're opening up like the hotel, the lake hotel, all these people are coming to work there. There's only one place that stays open all year, Glacier National Park in Yellowstone, but the lake hotel opens up and all these other little spots open up, the canyon. Yellowstone is amazing. You drive in this big loop, and it's like totally different terrain. It's this crazy foothills with hot springs and a hot river, and then you go a little more south and there's all these geysers and forest, and then you go more and then it's like this crazy thick ass forest with this huge fucking headwaters lake. Yellowstone Lake is this giant fucking lake that stays like freezing cold all year long, and it freezes over in the wintertime. It's amazing. Oh man, there's this event that happens where the whole lake will crack. It just goes, sounds like thunder. And the next morning there's like these big icebergs and shit out there, and they tell you not to go in the water because it's just too cold, you know, can't handle it. You'll get hypothermia or something. So I ended up working at the lake hotel, and I met all these people I was going to stay with and everything. But so I landed there, and I waited till everybody checked in, and then I walked up to, and I was like the last person in line, and they're like, I was like, can I get a job? And they're like, oh, you don't have anything ahead of time? And I'm like, no, I just showed up. And they're like, get us one faxed reference. And I was like, Mom. And just faxed. 1998 faxed reference. One faxed reference. My mom's saying, oh, he's a good worker. I don't even know what she typed. And then they're like, all right, you're in. I get on the bus. Oh, no, I stayed in a hotel with all those people because they were going in the next day. Got on another bus and went straight to the lake hotel. Met all these people, amazing people. And, oh, man, I got more stories there. I met this guy who worked there who played piano, and he still plays piano. He's an amazing piano player. And he was like in his coattails and his all grand piano in this beautiful lake hotel. It's this huge lake hotel. It's like this 5-star hotel. It's this huge dining area with these huge windows. Look it up, the Lake Hotel in Yellowstone. But there's also like this like low budget camp, like where all the not super rich people stay. And there was like a employee bar over there and all kinds of cool shit. It was just awesome. But Yellowstone is scary as fuck, and not like Yosemite. Yosemite, you can just go backpacking and you're like, whatever. Oh, the bears might get into my food. Oh, the squirrels or chipmunks, whatever. Like, they might get your food. In Yellowstone, they might eat you. There's like these giant fucking moose and wolves and everything. There's grizzly bears. They're gonna rip your face off. You have to they tell you to walk around with bells on and have whistles, and and they won't give you a permit unless you watch like this hour-long video or it's a half-hour long to like this. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't approach animals. When you go in the gift shop there's this huge book that's called Deaths of Yellowstone. That's a real book. You can look it up. And it's every account of every person who's ever died in the park. And there's so many stupid people. Just walking into geysers and shit. And, just dumb stuff. And, oh, my little dog went in the hot pool. Gotta get him. Even though he's already melted. But there's so many deaths there. It's just haunted as hell. So there's like a bunch of, you get like these dorm rooms there. You have to share a room with somebody, and then you have to share a bathroom with 2 other people on the other side of the wall. So you get like one room and you're sharing it with a person, and it's totally dorm style, right? I've never had that experience. I never went to college or anything. So now I'm like living in dorms with a bunch of kids my age, and we're all like 20, 22, 23 and shit. And oh man, it was just a party all the time, but there was no weed. Oh, it sucked. Nobody had weed. There was like wine and beer. Everybody had beer, but it was just this huge party all the time. If you could find anybody with weed, you're stoked. You're like, yes. Anyways, I ended up leaving because there was no weed. It was kind of just weird. It was a weird situation. And my friend that I met that was a piano player was like, I'm gonna go run a hotel. I mean, not a hotel, restaurant. Want to come run it with me? I was like, hell yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna quit and I'll meet up with you in Yosemite. So I quit my job and hitchhiked to Oregon, and I took a bunch of people with me. I was like, you should quit your job too, and they all quit their jobs. We all went to to Oregon, to the Oregon Country Fair in '98. It was amazing. It was like this fucking magical place. It was so cool. I saw Medeski Martin and Wood on the back of a flatbed truck. It was so awesome. And then I hitchhiked down from there to Yosemite, and then I met up with my friend Jim. But I only worked there for like 3 months, but it was pretty awesome. I had the best job ever. I'd wake up in the morning and walk down there at 5:45, and there might be like a buffalo on the fucking trail. It was crazy. I had to walk around. And then, what's going on? Well, and then, yeah, there's buffalo and moose. Oh, it's crazy. So anyways, I went down to the restaurant every morning, and I would prepare the breakfast buffet bar. Little tiny bagels and cream cheese, like 3 different kinds of cream cheese, and a fruit salad and scrambled eggs and pancakes. and I would put that out there. And I didn't make the pancakes or the scrambled eggs. I would just grab it from the line cooks, and they'd always load me up, and I'd go out there and refill it. But every day at the end of the shift, I would make huge bowls of fruit salad where I just chopped up melons and pineapple and grapes and like a couple different kinds of melons and put them in a bowl, and then like 2 huge bowls, and then put those in the fridge for the next day. And then I would make cream cheese in those giant mixers, those giant mixers in restaurants. Man, those things are huge. You like get in there. And I would mix cream cheese with like heavy whipping cream and like blueberries or roasted garlic, or what was the other one? Some herb thing I did. Forgot the herb one. It's just like Italian seasoning or something. I forgot what that one was. It was blueberry, garlic. Yeah, I don't remember what the other one was. I think it's just plain. You just make it all whipped up with the whipping cream, and then I would put those in one of those metal things, and then I put it in the fridge for the next day. But super easy job. And then like 2 o'clock came around, and I was gone. I was out of there. I got to go hiking or whatever. Go chill in my cabin. Everybody's at work. That was the best fucking job. And it was right on the lake, so you could just go down to the lake every day. It's awesome. But yeah, Yellowstone was amazing. The best part is you get to meet people from all over the country, so that when you're not working in Yosemite or Yellowstone, you can go visit these people all over the freaking country. And the other part is, what is the other part? You get to be and see places and things that nobody gets to see because they're not there all the time. Like when people go on vacation, they only see what happens in those 3 days. But there could be some like random amazing thing to happen out in the nature. Like in Yosemite, there was a lot of them. There was like the sun would hit the side of this mountain just right, and the waterfall would, so many of those things. And being able to ride your bike to work every morning underneath like such beauty, like that's just, so everybody's got to experience that. And I met people of all ages who just dropped out of the world and just went to work in Yosemite. Like, this is what I'm doing now. This is great. I love it. Don't tell anybody. I don't know. It's just where, if you feel like you don't know what you're going to do and you want to try something new, if you're young and you're like, what the hell is there to do out there? Like, it's actually a place you can move up and you can like, switch jobs every few months, and then like, there's like a whole human resources thing, and you got like you can become a manager, and then manager has their own housing, and it's just like you can make national parks your whole life with no experience. You just have to go and be there. I've seen a ton of lifers. I'm like, how did you get into this job? They're like, I was just here. They end up being like that guy, the guy that does the ice, or the guy that runs the little gift shop that like is this, the Ansel Adams gallery, or the, whatever, the little thing on the side. You're like, how'd you get this job? Or like the hot dog stand guy. That's a good job. Yeah, so like work in a national park, or just go to a national park. Jeez, there's so much beauty there. Did people forget how beautiful it is? Go see it. Yeah, there's my story about working in a national park. I hope you enjoyed it. I think I got more stories in there somewhere. I'm sure I got plenty of stories about being in the park for another time, maybe. But yeah, so stay tuned. Leave a comment. Tell me if you've ever worked in a national park. I can't talk right now. I need more tea. And go to Twitch, right?